No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen. Welcome to the Perfect Play Pursuit. We are here to break down the upcoming UFC Apex card. Erin Blanchfield, the fighting pride of New Jersey, taking on Macy Barber, who I've just grown to love in the UFC. This is an amazing card. Coming off a break week. We got a break week this weekend. For those United States of America fans, it's Memorial Day here in the States. So we're going to be celebrating. I personally have off from work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4-day weekend.
Whoa.
But no UFC. So it's like, and somebody must say, oh, you can take a break. It's like, no, this just gives me nothing to do. People, it's like, you need a break from the UFC. It's on Saturday night. Like, break to do what? Go to sleep? Like, what are you, so you can finally hit the club? So you can go to Tao nightclub? Like, where are you going? What are you doing? Like, I'm not spending time with my family at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday. They're asleep. So what?
And you could be riding on a moped with John Jones and him gripping the back of your hair. That could be it. That would be something I might sign up for as well. A little.
Listen, he's not my type, but if it stopped at the hair pulling on the motorcycle, we can get there. Yeah. I mean, I've met John in real life. I shook his hand, stood next to him for the picture, and the man is a lot bigger than you might expect. He's a lot bigger than you might expect. Do I have that picture here? No, I don't have it saved up. Guys, we got a big show today.
But remember, Luke's liver is at is at desk height or dresser height.
It was a big dresser. Like, picture a Schiffer robe.
An armoire.
Big thing, dude. It would have hit you in the liver too.
I mean, I don't know. I've never seen.
These people didn't watch the previous episode where we discussed me running into the dresser. So let's just start fresh. If you're here and you're a recurring audience member, you're probably wondering.
That was Dan's last episode, actually, Luke. So people probably did tune into that to see if there was some type of blow up or.
I know. It's like the Ben Avery, Tim Dillon thing. You go back and you watch the old episodes. You go, this was the moment that Ben decided he's had enough.
Yeah,
it's like that kind of drama. But Dan quit the show. He's going through what I can only describe as a psychosis. We're laughing because it's sad, right? We're laughing through our tears. But we are auditioning, we are window shopping, and we are experimenting with new third chairs for the Perfect Play Pursuit, because the show, as you guys know, it's an occult ritual, rule of 3, PPP, 3 boys, 3 words, 3 letters.
Well, maybe not 3 boys all the time.
Well, three hosts, three members of the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. With just 2, it doesn't feel like the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. So we need a third chair. Without Dan, I don't really feel comfortable calling anything Triple P certified, but we need a third person to Triple P certify a pick. It can't just be me and Alex sitting here agreeing with each other. So we got a very special guest joining the show very shortly.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And this guest will represent our third UFC fighter who is a guest on the show. This guest will represent the highest ranked UFC fighter we've had on the show, the most pristine record of a fighter we've had on the show. It's a first for us in some categories. And I think if things go well today, she may be the new third chair of the show permanently. If things don't go well today, you will never see this episode unless they go really bad, and then you will see the episode. So I say that to tell you, Macy Chiasson from Texas is coming on the show today. Macy Chiasson, who fights in 10 days. Macy Chiasson, who fights in 10 days, is taking time out of her busy schedule to come on the show and talk about her upcoming match with 14-4 Ketlin Vieira. Macy Chiasson fights on May 31st. Macy Chiasson fights, though we are breaking down the card that no. Yes, we are breaking down the card that she will be a part of.
I'm starting to think she's not going to come.
Dude, I wouldn't blame her. I wouldn't blame her. So,
she's going to have to talk to every single person she's breaking a fight down.
She is. So, we'll keep her for the main card. We'll test out these new third chairs for main card only. That way, we know which way. I mean, I know which way I'm rolling on the Macy Jarvis, but I think we know which way she's rolling. But let's also try to dig in a little bit, see, are there any injuries? Is there a reason not to bet her? And how does she think she finished in the era, right? Let's see if we can get some inside out information. Let's see if we can get the information from the inside. Let's see if we can get it out, right? Because this show, small show, we're not going to move the betting lines. If we got like almost like an undercover interview here, right? She's like doing like a secret Matt and Shane's secret podcast right now. She's doing like kind of like an underground kind of DIY operation. Oh, and then the second thing you might be wondering is, why isn't this live? Because we simply could not take the risk of you guys in the chat saying inappropriate things to Macy, and couldn't take the risk of us completely bombing with her in front of everybody for all to see forever. So we were like, you know what, just in case this goes south. And this is better because it gives Alex and I more creative liberties. If we're live, we're going to kind of have a vest on. We're going to kind of have a little bit of a guard up so that we can be like, all right, I got to stay within these perimeters. But if we're pre-taping it, me and Alex, we'll let it fly, and then we'll go back and take it out if we have to. But half the time we get to the end of the episode, things I thought I would have wanted to take out, I go, leave it in. Who cares? Leave it in. You know what I mean? So, but the leave it in thing comes after. So at first, I would be hesitant to even say it, which might make me pull some punches live. But now that we're pre-recorded, I'm going to let it fly. And then I'm going to think about it later, and I'm going to be like, I don't feel like doing the editing. Let's just unedited, edit it later, So we're going to talk a little bit about last week's card. Long and short of it is Sadiq Yusuf wins. I win $1,100 on the night. You know what I mean? I turn I had a parlay with Hung Sung Park, Luana Santos, Ruzaboev, and Yusuf Zalal. That was my 4-leg parlay. It was $140.50 to win $1,141.50. So I would have won net profit $1,000 on the bet. And it would have made up for the $400 I lost. I would have been up $600 from my $2,000 last week. Instead, I'm down, but still up on the year 6. For those of you who don't know, this is the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. We try to break down every fight each week and predict the perfect parlay, which is getting all the fights correct, betting them all as a parlay. I've done it. Alex has done it. Dan has done it. Dan, rest in peace. But the show, the Perfect Play Pursuit, we pursued it. We achieved it. Now, year 5, last year, we started a new competition, $1,000 bankroll for the entire year. What can you do with it? Will you take it up to the highest of highs? Will you go and sink even below that 1,000 into the negatives? And that's essentially what happened to Dan over year 5. We forced him to look every week at the number that he was losing. And I sowed my own poison. If Dan could have just cognitive dissinenced himself and only saw, because Dan finished in first place pick-wise last year. He finished almost 60% accurate, 58.9%, something like that. So Dan had the best picks, but isn't able to press the right buttons and bet the right bets and refuse to lose. I mean, on the card, he picked Jack Della Maddalena, and he had managed to lose money on that card. Jack Della was the last fight of the night. Jack Della was an underdog. If you're down money going into the last fight of the night and you have the underdog, you can easily win back everything you lost. For whatever reason, he didn't do that. So instead of being conservative in that way and said, I'm going to win everything back right here, right now, I'm going to conserve my resources and win them back, he decided to be conservative in another way, which is to say, I just can't even do this anymore. So Dan, battling a bit of a psychosis, forced to see himself for what he is over the course of a year, how much he had lost. And guys, he lost $4,000, right? I mean, in a year, so Dan is on hiatus, and Macy hopefully will replace Dan forever. But in the meantime, if Yusuf wins, I win. Other than that, my picks on the night, I had Pennington, I had Park, I had Gomez, I had Santos, I had Del Val. So that's the first 5 fights of the night I get correct in a row. Now, I watched 0 of those fights. I was outside with my daughter. The fight started at 4 p.m. So I'm watching they're on in the house. I'm outside in the back. I'm playing with her, and I'm peeking in every couple minutes when I walk in to get a drink or go to the bathroom. But I'm not watching any of these 5 fights. They all win. First fight I watch of the night is Moises versus Gordon, and Moises loses. I picked Moises. Then I see Gabe Green lose. I picked Green. Orosa
Gabe Green won.
Gabe Green won.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Gabe Green did win. That's right. Gabe Green did win. And then, Orosa fights completely valiantly, in my opinion, wins the fight, in my opinion, loses the decision, but mattered not at that point. Yusuf loses. Bellato gets, and then the real rug pull for me was that Yusuf Zalal loses, or Sadiq Yusuf loses, and then I don't have the Bellato fight to bet on, and I have to just make a move on the main event. And it's like, okay, do I bet the best? Right. At this point, you're hunting for what's going to happen at the best odds, right? So it's like you take, okay, I think Morales is going to finish him. Well, that's not that great of an odds. Okay, I think he's going to knock him out. Okay, well, that's not really that much better. Okay, I think he's going to knock him out in round 1. Not that much better, like minus 125. So then I go, all right, maybe he survives till round 2. Maybe it's a slow starting first round. Maybe it's a 5-round fight. Maybe they're feeling each other out. They burn that first round. He knocks him out in round 2. So I bet my last bet was Morales KO round 2. And that would have, made up for some of the lost bets, and it really just added to the total.
And remind me, how much did you have last week?
2009.
Great year.
Yeah. And some change.
Yeah, Sadiq Yusuf really burned the boats for me. And also I only had 2 other fights wrong. It was Moises and Elise Reed, which in all honesty, the Elise Reed pick was a troll pick. It wasn't a real pick. Okay. We take that one back. It was just a joke. I was having fun, laughing with my friends. I didn't mean it. Okay.
Yeah, you should. I mean,
What?
Shouldn't even joke about things like that. But no, overall, Alex and I only got Moises incorrect as far as the picks we gave you that we, certified. So, I mean, the picks that me and Alex were together on, Marias, Yusuf, and Sadiq Yusuf too. Marias, Yusuf, Rizabov, Green, Moises, Del Val, Santos, Park, Pennington. 7 out of 9, not too shabby for a couple of guys coming in here giving you picks. We give you 7 out of 9. It's pretty good. But if we had Dan, I wonder what it would have been. And it's this permanently puts year 6 in a complete throwaway year. I mean, I don't have the I've had data for 5 years on the accuracy percentage of Triple B certified picks. Through that data, I was able to determine which Triple B certified picks were worth betting based on the implied probability. Now, I feel like I'm losing my algorithmic advantage. I feel like I'm losing my proprietary person who is here to help figure out what to do. I miss Dan.
Don't we all?
I said it. But look, anything else to say on the card from last week before Macy joins the show? Is there anything to say on the card? I mean, in my opinion, at the end of it, I kind of felt a little bit like, whoa, it's over already? Like, whoa.
I felt the same way. You know why?
It was like 8 p.m.
You know why that Paul Craig and Bellato fight got pulled, right?
Yeah, I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that Bellato had a herpes outbreak, allegedly, and I heard this. And I don't know if it's true. Medical, HIPAA, whatever. But that's what I saw on the internet. So
UFC doesn't give a fuck about no HIPAA. If you get cut open, that
Dana's like he got 9. Dana's like he's back there getting 9 stitches right now. He's got a torn and they're like, what? Like, can you disclose that? Like, got DC back there taking a picture of Whitaker's teeth, and
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is a little crazy. So, but Dana isn't Dana never took the Hippocratic Oath, so he can say whatever the fuck he wants.
Very true. Whatever doctor is sending him that, on the other hand.
I wonder why they call people hypocrites when they say one thing and do another. And then you have Hippocrates, the founder of medicine. Is that related? Anyway, yeah. So my opinion is, Gilbert Burns, Herbert Burns. It's just a slower burn on the flame. At the end of the day, he's doing the same shit. At the end of the day, it's like they're the same. They're cut from the same cloth. Quite literally, they have the same DNA. They are gonna Burns. It just takes a little bit longer. You know what I mean? And now we're at the point where they've overlapped. They are the same fighter now.
Yeah. No, that was really bad. I didn't want to watch that. That was kind of sad to see. And I mean, every Burns fight, everybody with the last name Burns who has a fight usually ends in some tears. But it wasn't good to watch. I did not enjoy that. It wasn't an Anthony Smith, cuddle up in a ball and get wrecked. It was and I don't even love Gilbert Burns, but I'm not a crazy Gilbert Burns guy, but
I could get deep on this. I could get real deep on this. It's like Burns is wrestling with some cognitive dissonance right now. At the end of the day, when you listen to a Gilbert Burns interview, he will tell you how much time he is putting into recovery. And that's what's changed about his training, is that he's now just tripling down on recovery. What he's telling you there is that he is not the same Gilbert Burns that you once knew, because the Gilbert Burns that fought Usman for the title or whatever wasn't doing what he's doing now because he didn't have to, because he's not at the age that he is now. He hasn't taken the training miles that he has at this point. And the fact that he needs to do that, guess who doesn't need to do that? 21-year-old Michael Morales. You know what I mean? Like, he's just training. Every second, Gilbert Burns is in front of the red light thinking he's being productive. Every second, Gilbert Burns is in the sauna or the ice bath or the massage table. Every single second he's doing that, thinking I'm being productive, because he is, for what he has to work with. Moraes is training. Moraes is running. He is just recovering naturally, and also undefeated. Also doesn't have knockout losses, to speak of. So, yeah, I just wish that we could get good odds, right? Like, I wish that this was lined like Alex Morono, Cowboy Cerrone, Alex Morono plus 185. I wish that we could get Morales I wish we still had the betting public that was people going like, the people forget who Gilbert Burns is. I need that betting public back. Now everyone's just a little bit too like me. It's disgusting. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, fade the old people now. It's like, and I'm like, that was my thing.
No, you're right. That was your whole kill your darlings. That was like your whole catchphrase.
Ilya versus Charles. Ilya is now a 3-1 favorite against Charles Oliveira. It's like, man, everyone's copying me. Wow. Like, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Couldn't disagree more. It's like disgusting to me when people just copy my ideas. Like, I took Ilya by knockout over Volk. I took Ilya by knockout over Max. I took DDP by knockout over Rob Whittaker. I am so good at picking when these fan favorite type guys are going to fall and when the new guy is going to get them. And I catch that knife. And that's what I want my whole 2025 betting strategy to be, is just waiting and waiting until I get one of those feelings. Now, the problem is I had that feeling with Diego Lopes against Volk,
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, like I used to be able to trust that feeling 100%. Now I can't. Now I trust it like 75%.
You're chasing the dragon too much. That's what happens.
Right. Because it's like, well, am I just looking for love? Am I like, am I out here like, oh, of course it's this. It's like, I got to wait until, because certain ones like Ilya versus Volk by knockout round, DDP to knock out Rob Whittaker, right? Like that was he was like 5-1 on the money line, or it was like 6-1 for him to win by knockout. And I grabbed that because I just knew that was going to happen, right? And I grabbed Walter Volker to submit Tafa at like 13-1. You know what I mean? It's like some things are just so crystal clear that you have to be so patient. Patience is the biggest virtue in all this, So I'm going to practice patience. And, what do you think? I mean, it's a whole new year. We've had 2 cards under our belt now. We're both up money.
I just can't stop thinking about John Jones's boy toy jumping Jake Shields and Nate Diaz. Like, that's all I can think about. The guy that John Jones was holding the hair on the back of the moped, like today or yesterday, jumped Nate Diaz and Jake Shields, and then they
How do you jump Nate Diaz and Jake Shields? Do you bring 20 guys? Like, how do you jump them? Like,
Jake Shields says there was 100 Chechens and Dagestanis.
Okay. Seems like 5 times the amount you might need. You know,
it was your regular old 300.
You can't jump somebody with 100 people. You can't even fit 100 people in a room together. Like,
I don't know. This was Jake Shields' words, but they filmed.
That's a war. If it's 100 people, it's called a war.
Nate Diaz didn't really get involved too much. One guy went up to Nate Diaz, started acting a fool, and he smacked him, and that was it. And then all hell broke loose. And Nate Diaz was kind of on the outskirts of it for the rest of it.
It's kind of Nate's brand. It's like, if you have to, he's gonna smack you. You know,
to the point where, like, why would you get in his face? He will smack you. He's not going to be the first. He's not going to be the first guy getting hit in an exchange ever.
And how has Nate Diaz not done power slap?
I'm sure he has the fattest power. Paige Van Zandt, hold my beer, B. Like, here comes Nate Diaz, power slap champ.
I want Nate versus Dustin after they're retired in power slap. I would watch that more than I would watch most UFC. Like, I would watch it more than Burns versus Moraes. You know, I would if I got an option of that, I'm tuning in for that. See, like, that's what power slap's missing, is like having people who don't want to do it in there, but have a lot of pride in themselves. You know what I mean? Like, people who and make it 2 people who do not want to be slapped by the other person. Like, power slap is perfect for like these beefs with like influencers and stuff, you know, because it gives everybody what they want. Like, imagine if Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul were just slapping each other in the face. Like, Dylan's gonna get one, Logan's gonna get one, Dylan's gonna get one, and you're gonna be sitting there going, I want to see both of them get slapped in the face.
I'd rather see Brad Martin versus Logan Paul. That's my dream.
In power slap,
dude, 280, bro. Come on.
Clash of the Titans. That's a clash of the fucking Titans. I want to see it in power slap. I want to see it in WWE. I want to see that. I want to see that everywhere. I can see it.
Dana says it gets all these views. If he could put together a slap off like that, it would go mega. It would go bigger than anything's ever went. If he could get Brad Martin and Logan Paul smacking each other.
Why won't they? Is the question.
Who the hell knows?
Bad aesthetics. Like, you get slapped, even if you win that, like, you get slapped, like, they do that thing in slow-mo. It's like, you got that forever, you know?
Yeah.
You're memed forever. Lukey Chan, hi.
Yeah. What?
All right, so we're gonna break down UFC. Is this UFC Vegas 1-0? What? I mean, it's an 11 fight offering. You got Blanch versus Barber at the top. I love it. Clash of the Titans. Happy about it. Not gonna hear me talking crap about it. Gamrot versus Klein. Again, I love it. It's like you took these 2 guys. It's like you created them. You know what I mean? Like, for this. Like, this is a fight that should have happened. It feels like it's a fight that's happened 100 times. But yet I'm so excited to see it. It's perfect. It's a fight that you'd be like, here's Ludwig Klein versus Mateus Gamrot. This is a fight when you have 2 people playing the UFC video game against each other, and they're picking characters, and they both want to be cute. They both are like, I'm not gonna pick fucking BJ Penn. I'm not gonna pick Islam. Like, that's too mainstream. I'm gonna go with Ludwig Klein. This is like playing Madden. And I guess it depends on the year, but like, okay, so last year it would be like you play Madden with somebody last year, and one person picks
the Saints,
the Rams, and another person picks the Texans. 2 teams that should have done more in the playoffs, but maybe like thought they would be like in the conversation a little bit more, like, but it's the Rams and the Texans, or it's like maybe even a step down from that, maybe even like Bucks,
Browns.
Broncos.
Broncos, great team.
Yeah, bro, this is Bucks Broncos, where it's like you're like, oh, actually, this is going to be a great game. I'm excited to watch these two, and they might even be in the fucking Super Bowl playoffs. So they might even be in the playoffs. You know, so here's what I'm going to say. We're 18 past the hour. I don't think Macy's showing.
Yeah, me either.
You just talked to her today.
No, I talked to her like 2 days ago, setting it up.
Dude, you should be better at this. Like this is shit I would expect from Dan. Like you set meetings, like, you know, this is your thing. Like you know, like, did she accept the calendar invite? Like, what the?
Oh, wow, that's heartbreaking.
It's okay. It makes me a little less nervous.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I show up today. I go, oh shit. I'm like Macy Chais, and you know, I'm doing my pre-show stuff. I'm like, next fight is May 31st. Huh? I'm like, May 31st. What the fuck? When's May 31st? I'm like, that's in 10 days. I'm like, she fights on the next card?
I know. I was super stoked that she said yeah. I was like, oh, like this is kind of like a big deal. I was like, Macy Chison is the marquee matchup of this card. How did we get this? You know?
I'm about to message her. I'm like, hey Macy, we haven't met yet. I'm Luke, Alex's brother. I pretty much run the show around here. Did you tell him you were going to do the show today? Because he told me you were going to do the show today. And she's like, I'm like, yep, well, just because you made him look really stupid. Say that. So you owe him an apology, but moreover, you owe me an apology because you wasted my time. No, I would have. I mean, well, really, we would have done the episode on Monday live, but now it's Wednesday. It's neither here nor there. Macy, it's on the arm. It's on the arm. You're not the first to do this. Joe Pfeiffer coming to mind. I want to say Eric Anders because he did it a couple times, but he did show up that one time at his kid's football game, and then we kind of had some scheduling conflicts. I give Eric Anders a pass. Terrence McKinney, you know, Joe Pfeiffer and Terrence McKinney, and we add Macy Chais into that group of people. You know, I mean, it's like bad company, Macy, bad company. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot.
I just got a text from Macy.
Oh, what did she say?
I'm in PT right now.
Oh my God! Leak! Super leak! Super leak! Super leak!
Getting some work done.
Oh, big leak!
And they're taking longer than anticipated.
Oh my God! This is a huge leak. Say, what kind of work? What is wrong? Be like, no worries. Is everything okay? What's your injury?
I shouldn't have read that. You should probably.
Alex, like, guys, you know how when like you guys chat in and I read the comments, I click on the comment, I see the comment, and by the time I've seen the comment, I've read the whole comment. Like it shows up, I see it. It's like if you show me an image of a white car, I go, white car. You show me an image of a bunch of text, I go, that text says this. I don't need to like read every word. You know what I mean? Alex has to read every word to know what a sentence says. I don't know if like maybe other people are like him, maybe other people are like me. Am I special? Is he dumb? I don't know. But truth may be somewhere in the middle, but it's like he doesn't know what a sentence says until he's read every word in a row. So he didn't know where that text from Macy was going until like it came out of his mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
well, no. Big scoop. Guys, I think this gave you more than you bargained for. This gave you more than even if she came on the show and talked, oh yeah, Caitlin Blair, she's a great girl. Oh yeah, well, wouldn't have been worth more than this. Wouldn't have been worth more than this. But then again, you know, PT, that could really mean it. It's who isn't doing PT? Everybody's doing PT, you know.
She could be at PT Barnum's watching some fucking elephants eat some peanuts, you know.
Maybe
for all we know.
She's at TF Chang's.
Give me an apron. I'll be right there.
Okay. Should we do a little shop talk before we break this card down?
Yes.
Like, oh, that's your takeaway?
Yes, he's moving to Texas soon.
Did you watch Chin's vlog?
I did not yet. I knew I should have watched it beforehand, but I was
really
too busy.
Watch that.
I was researching Macy Chais.
You got to watch it with a notepad, and you got to be ready to pause, rewind. You're going to be a lot of. There's nuance for days. It's beautiful. Okay, and then other Schaub getting thrown out of the baseball game. You see that?
I did see that, and I reposted it and said, "Crap call, Blue." on my story, and none other than Brendan Schaub himself liked it.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Any of size.
So now
We gotta reach out to Schaub. We gotta be like, listen, Schaub,
I am going to reach out to Schaub.
fuck all the haters. We just be like, you met my brother in New York. You were a gentleman. We've always supported you, and we want you on the show, and you owe it to us.
No.
Be like, you have a duty because you talk all this shit about like, oh, people should be positive. Well, guess what? If you don't come on our show, that is basically like you dismissing us and saying that you're everything they say you are. All right, this is I'm basically just saying like,
I'm sorry. I'm really overthinking this text to Macy. I have no idea what to say. I said no problem. Feel free to drop in if you're free. If not, we'll reschedule for another time. Boom.
That's good. That works. Well, I mean, if she surprises us, it's going to be a little bit like surprising. I don't want to sit here in fear the whole time that I'm going to have to like.
Well, I'll let you know if she texts me back. You're
texting, or this is Instagram DMs.
Instagram DMs. Come on.
Okay. You're not like yeah. Well, so yeah, we basically, guys, our master plan was I was gonna have Joe come in on Sunday, and we were gonna bank an episode for the next card. And I was gonna have Macy come in today, and we were gonna do this one for this.
What do you mean bank it? We were gonna do it live.
No, with Joe. Well, see, I was looking towards the card after.
What are we gonna do? Break down fucking UFC 320 that hasn't been announced yet.
We have to have guests. So I was like, if I can get Joe on Sunday and Macy on Wednesday, that's 2 UFC fighter guests, 1 former, and I get to have the next 2. That guarantees me the next 2 episodes in a row. We have a third chair. That was my thinking, but now we don't have one for this week. And it's a break week. So on Monday, we need to have somebody, or we need to just not do an episode. And then we have to book somebody for the following one.
Okay.
Why?
Why do we need a third chair?
You heard my whole thing at the beginning. Rule of 3.
Well, if nobody can make it, nobody can make it. I mean, I wouldn't want to.
They can make it. We can do this. We can get people. I had a soft commit from Sadiq Yusuf.
Really?
But now it's like we gotta wait.
Well, good thing I barely touched on that fight because I had some words. Let's just say
I have a soft commit from a mutual friend of Sadiq Yusuf.
So Sadiq Yusuf. I have a soft commit from Brendan Schaub because he liked my photo.
I have a mutual friend. And here's what we're going to do also. When we have a UFC fighter on, we're going to say, okay, now it's time to play the show's segment game. Okay, this is the game. We play this every time, Macy. It's called
Call the most famous person in your film.
Guests. It's called Chain of Guests. So every guest we have on our show, we ask them to invite the next guest. Kind of like, remember the ice bucket challenge? So now you, Macy, what you're gonna do is you're gonna challenge 3 other fighters to come on our show and take the perfect parlay pursuit challenge. Here's what I was thinking.
Yes.
With each guest, so let's say we had Macy on today. She does her picks. Okay. She's not allowed to bet. I'm
gonna need Safe Sayud from her if she gets somebody.
But here's my thing. She's not allowed to bet because she's a fighter. But here's what we can do. We can say, Macy, we're gonna give you that $1,000 bankroll in fun money, PPP bucks, and you're gonna pretend to simulate the bets you would make on this card. And if you outperform me, you get a cash prize.
I think that's gambling.
No,
because Maddie Betts does that with Hanato Moicano.
It's a cash prize for if she can outpick me. That's the.
I think we should incentivize getting her friends on board.
If it's illegal, I'm not going to do it. I'm saying this assuming it's not illegal. I'm saying, and it honestly, really, is this like?
In reality, the gift is just $1,000 to the PPP Shopify store, which hasn't launched yet.
Yeah, or maybe it's like I will do like, I'll wear like a Macy Chiasson shirt for the next episode, or we can make it non-monetary. I will like, I don't know, like I will like
Go on.
be in her corner for like whatever, like I'll do a level of service for. I'll mow her lawn.
That's
I'll
fair.
help her. I don't know what the situation is with the crane. Maybe I can help her make some repairs. Like she might have just been like, "I'll deal with this later." Like that was gonna be my first question to Macy was gonna be, Macy, we say on this show, the first thing I'm gonna say to her is, if she comes on today, I'm gonna say, Macy, we say on this show, when you fight, when we break down your fights, what we say, Alex and I, we say, Macy Chiasson can handle anything. A literal crane fell on her house and she got through that. A crane couldn't beat her. How's Ketlin Vieira going to beat her? Boom. That was
100%. 100%. And I literally think she's the toughest woman in MMA. I don't think there's ever been a woman as tough as her. She's big. She's strong. She's got a lot going for her.
You want a young Jacek.
You know how this, Luke, how this was,
Tired, but,
how this all started? I made several videos on my Instagram talking about Macy Chiasson is the greatest, or not the greatest, but the toughest woman in MMA. I've said this numerous times, posted the caption on multiple reels that are showing love to Macy, and she always likes them. Always shoots me a message, appreciating the support. And I always appreciate her even reaching out. That's how this relationship started in the first place. And I 100% believe that if Macy Chiasson was fighting Juliana Pena, she would beat the shit out of Juliana Pena. And maybe even Kayla Harrison too. I think, yes, because if you really look at it, Macy Chiasson, she beat Pacheco. Larissa Pacheco.
Who beat Kayla Harrison.
Yes. And Macy Chiasson didn't just beat her, she knocked her out in the first round and absolutely humiliated her on The Ultimate Fighter. It was amazing. I loved it. That's when I knew, Macy Chiasson, you are the one for me. The one woman in MMA that I will get behind and fight for and let everybody know you're the best. Her career has been amazing. She deserves this.
Her typology is inspiring. She's like,
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, Mayra Bueno Silva, I don't know, didn't she fight for a title before she got beat by?
I believe so.
No, well, why do I think she fought for the title?
She did against Rocky Pennington.
Oh, but
in one of the most uneventful title fights of all time.
Have a little title fight thing next to it?
I think it was for the vacant belt after Husemolets retired.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, she fought for the belt, and then Macy beat her better than fucking the champion did.
Beat the hell out of her. Beat her like a drum.
Left her fucking unrecognizable. Doctor had to come in. There was a coward cornerman in Silva's corner who was afraid to throw in the towel. Then there was a coward referee who was afraid to stop the fight. So then a doctor had to be the big brave boy to come in and tell everybody what's what. Be the adult in the room. All right, let's get into it.
But first, Brendan Schaub, please come on the show. Big fan, huge fan,
dude. And
any size fan.
That shit does happen in the little leagues, and I have so many stories from when I was in little league of that shit happening, and it brought it all back. I was like, and worse shit than that I've seen happen in my little leagues.
Of course, and it was a shit call. It was a terrible call. Tiger was safe, and I don't go on.
He was safe. Yeah, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah,
and Brendan is right. If your dad wouldn't see you slide across that plate safe as your manager of your little league team, Cubby and all, didn't walk over to that ump and give him a little what for, kick a little dirt on his cleats, your dad doesn't love you. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah. Now, I personally, as a dad, would probably go the stoic route of Jocko Willnick, good, Good. Now he knows life's not fair. Good. You know what I mean? Like I would try to be like, shit happens. What are you gonna do about it? Like, what are you gonna? I'd be like, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? I would try to be more stoic about it, but I know our granddad would fucking get himself kicked out. Like
Absolutely.
Sometimes you gotta get yourself kicked out. Like, and like that's when you become a dad. Like you realize this. Like you realize like sometimes like it's got to be me. Like
some things are bigger than sports, in the words of the great Rico Bosco.
Like Bat Dad, like Stan's dad. You know, it's like it was a calling. He had to do it. Like
what?
When he fights at Stan's Little League games, like, I thought this was America.
Yeah. I would have loved to see Schaub throwing down with that ump though. That he should have gotten a little bit more in that Blues.
Well, remember the ump's got the chest protector on, so if he starts hitting him with some uppercuts to the belly, that ump's gonna eat them all day. They're made to take a baseball. I'll be fine.
But I appreciate Schaub's reserve because this is the playoffs now. He doesn't want to be kicked out for the entirety of the playoffs. We've still got a few more games to play to bring home a ring.
Guys, if you want more Schaub talk, just type Schaub in the chat, and we will definitely give that to you. We love talking Schaub.
All fast, no gas.
All gas, no grass. I'm trying to see if I have any other notes here. I talked about Colby Covington needing to grow a beard last time. But I do want somebody to get this to Colby. Colby, you need to grow a beard. You need to grow a beard. Beard. That is it. Everything else will fall into place. That is your next move.
As a poker player, you do need a beard, less face to read.
Dude, Colby needs a beard. It will change his fucking life. Because right now he's got that shit-eating grin. You know what I mean? He's got a shit-eating grin. Right? And he can't make himself scary or intimidating. He will always just look like a punk Eddie Haskell little kid, like little twerp, like a bully. You know what I mean? But you grow a beard and you say the same things you're saying, but you don't get all animated about it and smile at people. Instead, you just let them come out. You let them drip out all cold, like your old mud.
It's like Joe Pyfer. What would Joe Pyfer look like without a beard?
What would Hamzat look like without a fucking beard?
Yeah, I heard he doesn't even have a chin.
I saw. I don't know if that was AI, but I saw some shit that I was like, don't ever let me see this again.
Yeah, disgusting.
He looked like a Best Buy employee.
Circa
early 2000s. Now the Best Buy employees are just whoever. It's the same people that work at Panera Bread. Like I'm talking like a Best Buy employee who was there for the tech back in the day. Like now it's like
Geek Squad.
You go into Dick's Sporting Goods. You go, hey man, is there anybody here who can tell me about fishing rods? They're like, nah. You know what I mean? They just they just start looking around. Like they're just minimum wage employees. They could be at any store. Like that's the problem with America. There's no special but there are specialties. Because then I went to local rod and reel shop, and the guy, I didn't even buy the fucking rod there. He just fucking strung it up for me, did the whole thing. Was like, here you go. Like, so they will do that. So stop supporting big chains. It's enough that we do Amazon. If you do Amazon. And then every other purchase you make in the real world, you're not going to a big chain in the real world. Let them get you online. But in the real world, we're not going to big chains because all they do is pay somebody minimum wage. These people are not experts. A lot of them, and I smelled it, are using marijuana cigarettes on their shift.
A little Caribbean cabbage.
A lot of these minimum wage retail employees are using marijuana cigarettes on their shift. I'll say that. I've smelled it, and it might be legal, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's not legal in my state, and believe me, whenever I get even the slightest smell of a doper around me, I'm disgusted.
Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
All right, we gotta break this card. We got 11 fights to break down. Let's do it. Let's take everybody through it. Starting at the bottom with the most interesting fight. Rayan Dos Santos, RDS versus Alice Ardaline. Alice Ardaline versus Rayan Dos Santos. These both sound like Marvel characters. I like neither of them. I will not be taking somebody with 8 losses, 2 of them that occurred over the last calendar year. Not never won in the UFC versus, also never won in the UFC. The only good thing about this fight is that the UFC will get at least one person to have their first win in the UFC. The other will go 0-3. It's
And
clear.
Luke, I heard that it's a loser leaves town match. Whoever loses is retiring and getting a package. They're getting the whole B-roll on the screen, everything that all of their misfortunes that happened in their career in the UFC will be played out before the whole entire arena.
And I mean, like when Macy comes on the show, I'm gonna say, Macy, when you see Julia Avila getting like a send-off fucking retirement speech, do you just go, oh damn, they must have a fucking red carpet for me when I retire? They must have a queen's crown to put on me when I walk out. Like, damn, you know what I mean?
I would be thinking, if I'm Macy Chiasson, I should probably start writing my Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah.
Like right then and there.
Julia Avila gets a send-off retirement speech off a loss. If who else recently did the same exact thing?
Michelle Watterson.
Michelle Watterson gets absolutely mauled and gets a whole B-roll package. There was another one too, though. Cookie Monster, but there was also another one.
Cookie Monster was a champ. Irrelevant.
Right. Fair enough, but yeah. But I'm just saying there was another one too, where I was like, really? Like, oh, I think I'm thinking of Anthony Smith.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That was
too.
a like now that I've had time to digest that was a monstrosity of an event. That was like, this guy got his whole wig split, his whole shit bloodied and battered, ends up picking a fight with an audience member. We talked about how it absolutely scared his children and made his family feel insecure and unstable. We talked about that, but then to then transition into this. Oh, what a moment! They even got Tate. They even got Chael. Oh, he said something. I gotta remember to text these guys. That was so sweet. It meant the world to me. That was despicable.
Disgusting. After
he sitting there waiting for his post-fight interview, he's like, "So I did good. Sorry."
Yeah, they should have burned the tape as soon as he tried to jump into the crowd. I mean, NBA players get fined for far less than that.
Nina should have came out into the ring and said, "Anthony, if I roll my, want to know what I think? If I roll that tape, they're all going to start throwing shit into the ring."
Brother, do it, please.
And he was like, "I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this." And he was like, "I don't want other people to get hurt. They're going to be throwing stuff at you."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It's Dollar Dog Night, Anthony. They all have them. You're gonna get hit with 100,000 hot dogs.
Citizens Bank Park no longer has Dollar Dog Night because that happened precisely. They all threw their hot dogs on the field.
Hey,
so now it's BOGO.
You know what weighs more than a dollar dog? 100 fucking pennies. How about I just put those in a bag? Bring Dollar Dog Night back. or I'm doing free change night right outside the stadium. Give me $1, I'll give you a big bag of 100 pennies. Feels kind of like a baseball, like a great projectile. We'll make it rain pennies at CBP. Kidding.
That is the most Philly response you could have, considering the batteries and snowballs.
We'll call it the night of a million pennies. Hey Otanye, hey Shinye Otanye. Is it raining, or did you hit the jackpot, you gambling motherfucker?
Oh my gosh, that's too good.
Look at John. Hi. Gambling with my friends and drinking while I gamble, but nothing more than you.
I'm gonna go with Dos Santos. There has never been a fighter from Belgium, not Belgium. What the fuck am I thinking? Romania to win, and all their records are padded except for the great Cobra Tate, of course. Give me Rene Dos Santos.
Yep. Double A crawled out of Cobra Tate's hiding hole and was able to escape his clutches because we know what he does. I'm kidding. RDS for me as well. Don't like this fight. Won't be betting on this fight. Moving on. Markel Medeiros versus Balaji Oki. Balaji Oki, You mentioned Belgium by accident, but he is a Belgian guy. And his opponent, 28 years old, out of Factory X Muay Thai. 6 wins by knockout. 2-fight UFC veteran. Took Austin Hubbard to a split decision. Beat Landon Quinones by decision. 1 first-round knockout via knee on the Contender Series. The Zulu Warrior Blanchfield, 5 knockout wins. He's got 1-1 record in the UFC. He got submitted by Chris Duncan. Markel Medeiros. Seems like the UFC is going to try to force this to be a kind of stand-up fight, making 2 guys that do knockouts. It's almost like who's gonna shoot first kind of thing, right? Like is Markel Medeiros the type of guy who goes, yeah, I might be a striker, but this guy's definitely not a grappler, and I'm a little bit of a grappler, so I'm gonna get his ass out of here. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I kind of want to go with Oki though. I kind of want to go with Oki in this one. Yeah, I'm going with Balaji athleticism, reach, explosivity, and if the fight remains standing, I think he gets it done.
Give me Markel Medeiros. Just
right.
more well-rounded, has a lot more to his game, has a lot more durability, has been in there for a long time with some guys, and I think that experience will take him leaps and bounds over Oki. If he can survive the early onslaught, he'll be able to get it done.
Yeah, no, that's probably the right pick. I don't know why I'm picking the wrong one. Kurt Holloway versus Jordan Levitt. Kurt Holloway, it feels like he just fought. Yeah, he just fought 2 months ago. I remember watching that at the airport while I was flying home from Florida. I was watching Kurt Holloway versus Alexander Hernandez at the Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville Pavilion within the Fort Lauderdale airport. I was watching Kurt Holloway fight Alexander Hernandez. I thought he beat him, but
rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I like the age difference. I kind of think Jordan Levitt could give Alexander Hernandez a good fight. When I think about him as a comparative opponent, and he's a lot less of a favorite than Hernandez was. So I'm going to go with Levitt here. Jordan Levitt.
Jordan Levitt struggles with high-tier grapplers. Paddy Pimblett. Who else? Who else did?
Chase Hooper.
Oh my gosh.
It's just crazy to be a jiu-jitsu guy yourself and to just get outclassed. Like, I don't know. I mean, Charles Oliveira has more submissions than anybody in the UFC, and he didn't outclass Tony Ferguson necessarily. Like, and by that I mean he got finished by Paddy, he got finished by Chase. Tony Ferguson didn't get finished by Oliveira. Michael Chandler didn't get finished by Oliveira. Like, there's plenty of examples where there's a clear grappling advantage to a guy and other guys with what would seem like, I mean, you would think that Ferguson and Chandler both couldn't grapple with Jordan Levitt if they did just a jiu-jitsu no-gi kind of grappling session. You would think
you're touching on a problem that is far bigger than, just that. The problem is that the top of especially the lightweight division has been eating each other, and the lightweight division has actually become one of the divisions with the least parity now, because it's just Dustin Justin, Charles Justin, Michael Chandler Justin,
Yeah.
All these guys are just cannibalizing themselves, and none of those lower guys who actually could compete, as we could see with Paddy and Michael Chandler. Granted, Michael Chandler isn't the same guy anymore, but I mean, he still looks good in certain moments of all these fights. They've all just been fighting each other. Nobody has sent the ladder down for somebody else to get a chance to come up. And that's a fact. And especially at the lightweight division, all of the guys within the top 15 are just as good as one another, but they just haven't had that opportunity yet. And Paddy Pimblett finally got his, and Paddy Pimblett has a bunch of star power. How do you think guys like Grant Dawson are feeling? Like, where, he can beat all these guys. Sure, he got a flash knockout by what's Paddy? What? Come on, Paddy. What's that guy's name?
Bobby Green.
King Green. Yeah.
No, you're 100% right. And the thing is, what everybody misses is that, like, you didn't really know who any of these people were before the UFC pushed them up in the rankings and told you who they were. And yeah, like really, you could take the dullest tool in the shed, Bilal Muhammad. At one point, Henry Cejudo. I mean, you remember those days where Chael Sonnen would make the videos about Henry Cejudo and how he's not interesting, and he'd be like, Henry. He literally said, he's like, Henry. Nobody wants to hear about how much you love your mom. Nobody wants to hear about how. Nobody wants to see you wrap that American flag in you and be like, I'm the good little boy from the Olympics. Nobody wants to see that. Like Chael went off on him for a series of videos about how he just doesn't promote fights and he's not good. And then he went complete. Anybody who talks to Chael ends up with the right tool by the wrong end, in the sense that you got Colby Covington and Henry Cejudo, two people who clearly were spoon-fed advice from Chael Sonnen, but they just didn't do it that great. You know what I mean? Like they did it to a level that got them from low attention to medium attention. They didn't do it from a level that got them from medium to high or low to high. It was like
I don't know. I think Henry Cejudo now is like one of the most accidentally racist and hilarious guy by accident
he's
ever.
But what it took for Henry and Colby to do what they did is so much heavier lifting than somebody like McGregor or somebody like Diaz or somebody like who's another good example of like Ilya. You know what I mean? Like there's other guys who you can put the spotlight on and it will grow organically, and then there are guys who make the most of what they can in this situation, and it does improve. But it's not what we're really looking for. You know what I mean?
Well, Luke, it's like this, right? Would you rather be authentic and feel authentic and people hate you? Or would you rather play a character and be like, oh, well, I'm just playing a character. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if people hate me. Actually, that's part of my character. I want people to hate me. Because when you're being that authentic guy and then people hate on you and then you don't have the mental fortitude to just block that out, like,
but here's the thing,
Alex.
I mean? A good character, you don't know if they're being a character. Like, you know what I mean? Like Colby Covington, it's so like talked about that he will talk on the Candace Owens podcast about, I was going to get cut from the UFC because I wasn't drawing enough attention to myself, so I switched that. And he'll say it. He'll be like, I started turning it up to 11. He'll tell you about it. So it's like, that's another big problem. It's like, you gotta get them in when they don't want to be got. Like the people who hate Colby, they go, I hate him because he's doing a gimmick. They don't go, I hate him because of what he says. They go, I don't even believe that he believes the shit he says. I just hate him because he's being like that. Like that. So, and with Henry Cejudo, it's like people called him cringe, whatever. But my whole point was the people who the UFC will even tell you don't draw a lot of viewers, Bilal Muhammad, are still able to like. And the funniest thing about this is like Bilal will talk shit about Colby Covington and be like,
what's this guy? I don't even know what's up with this guy. Like, why is this guy are we talking?
That's a bad Bilal. But then he'll like, I wore my Chicago Blackhawks jersey to the arena because I wanted to show them that I don't care about them. And he'll be like, I hate Philly. He's like, you do the exact same thing. You, Bilal, do the same thing Henry Cejudo does. You do the same thing Colby Covington does. You act like, I'm gonna just play into it, and you do this. Like you do it, Bilal. You talk shit on people on Twitter, you type to people and you say DDP sucks, but you do the same thing exactly to a T that they do. The exact same thing. So it's like, my point, I guess, is like you could make the UFC has.
Was that the beginning of his end? Because DC, the whole fight week, Bilal is really like being himself now. Bilal is really like able to come out of his shell now that he has the belt.
Yeah, and it's like, we got to just flush these guys out, like Dustin Poirier, who are like legends only for my retirement. Legends only. It's like,
who is he? Vin Diesel?
Like who? Oh, so yeah, Nate Diaz. They tried to give him Khamzat Chimaev on his last fight. So, they try. They like, this isn't how it works. You're getting a special little thing here,
And Dustin Poirier is getting a fucking B-roll after his fight. But then again, it's the main event. Are they going to do that for a main event? Like where they play a whole 5-minute video for everybody sitting there trying to leave, beat traffic?
Dude, they better.
And I just can't wait to see the stands just like funneling out. Well, I guess it is in Louisiana, so they probably will.
be there. Yeah. Man, I'm gonna be so happy to see him go.
I'm not. I want to see him. I want to see more heartbreak.
You think Max will beat him?
Definitely. Are you kidding? What did Connor once say? Lightning doesn't strike twice. Well, damn sure doesn't strike 3 times.
So you think that Jordan Levitt is going to beat Kurt Holobaugh?
I don't know. I really don't know. I could see a world.
I have to kind of go out on a limb to take Levitt here. Like personally, like I have to be like, all right, Jordan Levitt, you better win. But if you lose, I hate you forever. Like that's where you're at here. I can either pick Kurt Holobaugh and be like, oh, I guess I underestimated Jordan Levitt, or I could pick you and I better have estimated you. And if I've overestimated you, Jordan, and if you lose to Kurt Holobaugh, you're done. I'll be calling for you to be cut from the UFC if you can't beat a 38-year-old.
Kurt Holobaugh. Say what you want about Kurt Holobaugh, but the guys he lost to, pretty good, and in their prime, guys he beat, I kind of rate them a little higher than the guys Jordan Levitt's beat. He beat Matt Wiseman after people hadn't heard of Matt Wiseman for 20 years, right? Like, didn't he like hide in a trailer, which is kind of suspicious. Like, that's the first thing I would do if I committed a crime, is just like disappear. I'm gonna go to Mexico and wait till all this bill business chills out, so to say. I'm gonna go with Jordan Levitt. You gotta go with Jordan Levitt here. I mean, but Kurt Holobaugh has a lot more doggedness to him than Jordan Levitt. This is a real toss-up, but I'm gonna go with the guy who's a little zestier, who probably isn't afraid to toss a little something, if you know what I'm saying. Give me Jordan Levitt.
All right. Next, we got Oban Elliott versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Take him through the nitty gritty. I'm auto picking Elliott just because his recent performances, and he seems to be really like charging up his star power. But let us know what you think. I gotta hit the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in less than 3 minutes. But just take him through the nitty gritty of this. Give him the height, the weight, the last few fights, and then give your pick. And then if I'm still not back, take him through the next one, Macy Chiasson. But I'll be right back. Just got a PP.
All right.
See, we're the PPP. Now we're just the PP.
Well, now with you peeing, we are triple P.
Can't even take a PP break anymore because we don't have a third chair.
I know, it's crazy. I've had to get up for quite a bit now. I'm gonna go with the Welsh gangster, of course. I'm not gonna read you the heights, the weights, and stuff like that. I'm not Tapology, motherfucker. I'm not just a jukebox. You can tell me what to do and I'll do it. I kind of, beat to the bat of my own drum, so to say. I'm going with Oban Elliott. He's the man. He's really, really good. Ramiz Brahimaj. He's more of and I don't want to talk shit on him too much. Oh, he's at Travis Lutter. I could have sworn he was at Fortis. This Ramiz Brahimaj. He's a wincer. He winces when he gets hit. And Oban Elliott, very, very much of a tactician, doesn't necessarily blow your socks off in terms of knockout power, finishing potential, but he is very, very smooth, very fast, very, very precise with his shots. I think that he takes out Ramiz Brahimaj. But on that note, we can go to a little different speed now that Lukey's gone and I don't have the leash on. I'm really thinking the state of the union right now. The whole entire game of MMA has deteriorated. And it's not in terms of the fighter's skills. It's the product that we're getting. Now, hear me out here. I think that a lot of the fighters, and granted, I'm not talking about every fighter in the UFC, but a lot of the fighters now where it's like when you're trying to build a prospect, they're a lot more likely to fail because everyone is so skilled and they're are easier fights. Like take Bo Nickel, for example. Cody Brundage is still a tough motherfucker. Like, although, you say what you want about him, got elbowed in the head. He stopped the fight. He won 2 DQs in a fashion that people like to spit on, but he's still a decent fighter. Cedriscus Dumas got the jump on him, but Cedriscus Dumas will get the jump on your house in the middle of the night if you don't have your head on the swivel. Okay.
Allegedly.
All respect to Cedriscus Dumas. But yeah, I just think the state of the union of MMA going downhill fast. The product has been shit. Some fighters are way too good and their opponent's way too good, and it's a boring ass fight. And then some fighters are so bad and the other fighter's so bad, and it's a boring. Oh, actually, those are kind of the most exciting fights nowadays. You get fucking Trevor Peek in there who doesn't have the best technique in the world versus anybody. It's going to be pretty fucking exciting. No? Everybody wants to be GSP. Nobody wants to be Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, I think like one of the best fights that I saw recently was
there was an amazing ladies fight a couple weeks ago.
I mean, no, but one of the fights that I was watching where I was like, this is like one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find it. It was pretty recently, towards the early part of the card. It was. It was. Sorry, this is important.
It's fine. Macy's not coming. It's official. An hour and change in. It's fine though. At least she gave notice. She gave proper notice. What are you gonna do? She's got to fight in 10 days, guys.
Yeah, I mean, so don't we all?
I got the fight of my fucking life every day.
See, I start my day 6 a.m. That day ends at noon. That's day 1. Now, noon to 6 p.m. That's day 2. 6 to midnight. That's day 3. I'm getting 3 days for one of your days. You stack that up over a month, you're toast. Stack that up over a year, I'm kicking your butt.
All right, now I'm gonna take my pre-break while you look that up.
Yeah, no, there just was a fight towards the end of year 5 that I was watching where I was like, this is one of the best fights I've ever fucking seen in my entire life. Like, it was that good. Oh, now I remember. It was Treson Gore versus Marco Tulio. I was watching that fight, and I'm like, this is the second fight of the card. It's 2 people, nobody know who they are. And I'm like, Marcos Tulio versus Treson Gore. Just the fact that Treson was taking those hits, getting knocked down, almost out, and then with every opportunity to like let himself get TKO'd or like not show good body language and let the ref stop it or get choked out, he like didn't take several of those opportunities. Ultimately, the fight ended, but he fought really fucking hard, and there were 2 really exciting rounds with both guys getting rocked, and yeah, it was an amazing fight. It's going to be up to us. The problem is we're attracting a lot of new fans, and when I became a UFC fan, it was the forums era. So there was MMAlinker.com. I used to go to MMA Linker, and people would post their opinion on a forum, like in a thread, and they would be like, Anderson Silva isn't the greatest middleweight of all time. And then they'd post their opinion, and then people would comment, and you would either get supported, mixed result, or completely trashed, right? Like, people would just trash opinions there, and there would be like people trashing other people's opinions. And there was a good bullying system between the hardcore fans that guided decision making in terms of like what we're gonna all get excited about and what fights the UFC's gonna put on. Now, this is back when the UFC put on 11 events a year, right? So there's a lot more time in between events to talk about them, get a pulse, right? And you have the event, and every event, since there were only 11 a year, that every event seemed stacked, right? Now the UFC does like 48 events a year. You're not going to get, the same quality when you go from 11 to 48. When you 4x your output, you're not going to get the same quality. So,
And there's too many damn fighters.
but it's up to people like us with our small little community. It's up to people who talk about this stuff to just make sure that voices are heard, opinions are heard, things are said, because you can't rely on the UFC mouthpieces to say it. I mean, I was proud of Chael on DC and Chael. I was proud of Chael for saying to DC's face, there's no reason I can't spin what Makhachev's doing as an act of cowardice. Because on one hand, you have Ilya coming up in weight, leaving his belt behind willingly, voluntarily, coming up in weight to be to fight the number 1 pound for pound guy. Then you have that number 1 pound for pound guy moving up in weight only under the condition that the current champ is unseated. And it's almost like the GSP Bisping thing. It's like, yeah, well, you're not going to fight Bilal Muhammad because you train with him. I believe Islam would have fought Bilal. I think it was on Bilal's side that he was keeping that from happening. But on another hand, Bilal is a way harder matchup for Islam because they share strengths, like they share skill sets. It would look a lot like Merab and Umar, I believe. I believe it would look a lot like Merab and Umar. I believe, Islam would beat him, but I also believe people could be surprised, like they were with Merab Umar. Merab was a 3-1 favorite, underdog in that fight. So my point is, I know Islam has been wanting to do this, move up to 170. He's been wanting to do this. And I know that it was inconvenient that Bilal was the champ, and then he had to wait for that window. And I know that he is not afraid of Ilia Topuria. Right?
And I know that inshallah is crazy.
Yeah.
In the words of Joaquin Buckley. Which, it's not that crazy. Inshallah means if God wills it. It doesn't mean thank God.
Well, here's what God's not willing. He's not willing to let you keep your belt going up to 170. And so you're not the champ. And then Ali said that if Jack gets hurt or something and can't defend the title on that date, they will put someone else in there and they'll strip Jack just like they did with Yuri.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So if you don't want to think that guys managed by Ali have power that guys who aren't don't, like, look no further than that example. I mean, this guy makes things happen. And now he's also arguing that Justin Gaethje gets the next title shot at 155. So it's like, okay, this guy is a really like sophisticated manager in terms of his aligning of his chess pieces. Like, he not only gets the lightweight division unclogged for guys like Gaethje that he manages, but he also has now two, hopefully if it all works out for him, two of his managed fighters fighting for titles this year. If he can get Islam to fight for the 170 belt and he can get Justin to fight for the 155 pound belt, that's two of his managed fighters fighting in two weight classes right next to each other, when otherwise he would have only had one. He would have had Islam fighting at Ilya at 155, which keeps Justin. So instead he opens everything up. So if you are managed by Ali, you also have to realize that he has a hierarchy and will do certain things for certain guys and will keep certain guys on the bench while he moves things around for other guys. And if you don't see that,
we got to start calling him Baraka. Ali is like he who thou shalt not be named. Like, you should not name him. You should not say his name. Bad things will happen to you. The FBI is going to be at your door tomorrow.
I don't want to reckon with him.
I wouldn't. But
I don't want to be on his bad side.
Although Baraka is one of the least powerful characters in Mortal Kombat, Baraka holds the most power when it comes to the UFC.
Yeah. I mean, and then so what Chael was saying, though, is like, it just looks like you're running away from it. Like, it really does put all the cards, like all the power mana in Ilya's hands. Because Ilya, all he has to do is submit Charles Oliveira, right? Faster than Islam did, right? And then say, there's a guy that's running from me. So even though I just got this belt,
that cute little smug smile he does.
Oh yeah. And just say, there's a guy that's running from me. I left my belt behind. I came up. I took his belt. Now I'm going to go up and take another one of his belts.
But I don't know. I think that fight
if he gets past Jack Della Maddalena.
I think that Max has a lot easier of a time with Ilya Topuria at lightweight, especially since he was going up and then coming back down. I feel like that's rough. He put on a lot of muscle for that fight against Justin Gaethje. Everybody saw it. I showed my girlfriend a picture of Max Holloway. She said, damn, he's getting meaty. He's getting big. He's getting strong. I thought Max Holloway was a noodle head. That's what she told me.
Super big mistake for him going from bulking up for the fight with Gaethje and then going back down. And I knew it. I said it. I said, guys, he's getting older. The weight cuts are not easy. They weren't easy before. They're getting worse every time. It's going to be the worst it's ever been because he just went up to 155 and is coming back down. It's going to be the worst it's ever been. Guys don't do that. That's not the way you do things. And he, yes, has never been knocked down. But guys, every time he fights and hasn't been knocked down, it becomes more likely, not less, that he's going to get knocked down the next one. He is landed and also taken more significant strikes than anyone in UFC history. He's not a god. He's not like you can be like, oh, this slot machine's never done a jackpot. Well, it's been pulled 2,500 times. It's like, you could say, don't play that slot machine. It's not going to get jackpots. Like, or you could be like, well, it's going to eventually. And
how fucking lame is Dustin Poirier for Legends only, but it has to be somebody that I've already beat twice.
Yeah.
Like, you're such a fucking loser. You should have fought Justin Gaethje.
Paddy is more famous than Max.
Paddy is more famous, and he just beat the guy who slept you in. Or no, he didn't beat Justin Gaethje. Sorry,
you beat Max at 2 different weight classes already, and are challenging him. But it's like you know, like Paddy is just as famous as Max. Okay, maybe he's not a legend. He hasn't achieved what he's achieved, but you already beat Max twice, you know?
And how much is Dustin kicking himself now for putting up this big stink? Because he could have probably fought Ilya Topuria for the title instead of Charles Oliveira.
The funniest thing
he's more famous than Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
He's on the fucking Pat McAfee show announcing the draft picks for the New Orleans Saints. Like, he's a pretty famous guy himself. He could have been in that spot. He could have literally been in that spot. Fought for the lightweight title for his last fight. If he didn't, make it so known and so bitch made that this next one's my last ride. The UFC ain't giving you the belt, the title shot if it's your last ride. They're giving
him the shot at the BMF title, which is it could have been so cool to have that, but the lineage was like completely broken. Like the second fight, the continuity, like the actual lineal tradition to the belt, it was broken almost instantly.
Jack Della Maddalena should be the new BMF.
And it's always it's every time it's been broken. It was broken initially for this reason, and it's been broken every time for this reason. Absolute cowardice. Like, the person who holds it goes, I'm not putting that on the line, but I want you to put your belt on the line. Like, that's probably why you fucking all lose, because Ilya burned his fucking boat. He fucking burned his boat at 155. He's not a champ anymore. Now he's at 145. Now he's at 155 with no belt. It's like, he's not thinking like you guys are thinking. You guys are covetous. He is like, this is what I want Ilya to say. Okay, I'm writing for Ilya. I'm Ilya's manager. Ilya, you got to say this. You say, when they ask you about, like, because Joe Rogan's going to say, so what next? And you go, I'm Spanish. Like, we're conquerors. So I conquered one division. I conquered this division. Wherever I go, I'm going to conquer it. Like, that type of thing, right? So we do that, and then we go, but there's this guy that's running from me right now, and I don't care if he wins or loses his next fight with Jack Della. Islam, I'm coming for you. Doesn't matter if you have the belt. I'm coming for you. Like, just say that and walk away. Like, and just constantly say that. Be like, I'm going to fight Islam Makhachev. Like, I'm coming for him. Like, say it like that. Like, I'm coming for you.
No,
like,
what he instead of win or lose, say, you can run all the way up to heavyweight. I'll still be chasing you.
I love it. Yeah, that too. That's in the post-fight press conference. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to layer all this out between the post-fight interview, the post-fight press conference, the interview with Chael and everybody upstairs before the post-fight press conference. Like, we're going to piece all of this content out, but we're going to get so many sound bites of him just making Islam look like a punk. And the funniest thing is, Islam has been dealt all these cards And Khabib was dealt similar cards. And you wonder, right? You go, how come guys from this region are constantly having these like kind of asterisks? Like, for example, Khabib gets the title from Al Iaquinta. You know, he doesn't fight Tony when he was supposed to. He gets on a plane and leaves. Then you have like Makhachev gets the vacant title from Oliveira. Then you got the whole issue with Charles even getting that title with the weight thing and the scale and like there's all. And then you have Volk coming up to challenge him. He beats Volk, but it's close, and people think he lost. Okay, so he beats him again, but that one was short notice. And then you're supposed to fight Arman. Okay, finally, a true number one contender. Nope, now you're fighting Moicano. But it was short notice, and Moicano sucks. Like, it's like there's all these write-offs with
Moicano doesn't suck. No, I did not mean to nod my head to that.
Yeah, but Poirier, yeah, but Poirier cut you and like actually like looked kind of good, like and it took you all that
and
time.
Luke, something that here's why I understand Islam Makhachev's point of view, where he's like, I'm going up in weight. It's because if you look at every single fighter he has fought at lightweight, they were a featherweight. Every single one of them, except for Justin Gaethje.
Yeah,
every single one of them. Look through his list of fighters. You mentioned Dustin Poirier, used to be a featherweight.
He didn't fight Gaethje though.
Oh,
Khabib did. You're thinking of, but the funny thing about that is, same thing.
The funny part about that was that Khabib dropped his Dagestani nuts in Justin Poirier's mouth. Justin Gaethje's mouth.
I mean, Khabib fought Poirier, who was a featherweight. He fought McGregor, who was a featherweight. So kind of seeing, it's like
Volk, Charles, Dustin, Hanato.
But my thing is the reason that they're in this predicament that seems out of their control is because there's such strict parameters on when and where they can fight. It's always like it has to be in this window of time in this specific location. So it's like, well, the win's only gonna and the UFC
at least Big Onk, Aliyev will be like, I'll fight during Ramadan. I don't give a fuck. I'll train when the sun's down. What are you talking about?
And like, so it's like, he does that. And then but with Khabib's camp of guys, it's like they're always pulling out. They're always missing weight. They're always bitching about the weight cut and crying about it. They're always doing every manipulative advantage, complaining about it. And then with all of these other restrictions they put in place, the UFC opens doors like none other for them. They build Fight Island. They have a partnership with Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi owns 10% of the UFC. They have all of this.
They get tested by USADA once in a millennia.
Yeah, like they have all of this, the IV bag. I mean, the IV situation, right? There's all this leniency and like, okay, it has to be this time. We got to rush this guy in. We got to get a guy on short notice. We got to do this. It's because they create it with their perimeters that they put around everything with their, inability to make weight on short notice because they're weight bullies. Islam walks around at like 190 fucking pounds. You know what I mean? It's like he's still cutting a lot of weight to get to 170, So weight bullies, never truly tested with good competition, always taking fights on short notice where they have the advantage, like all this stuff. It's just facts. But now, for the first time, Islam is in a position where his fights could be more interesting. We could have a guy hunting him down. Like, no, I don't give a fuck. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for vendettas. We're looking for like guys who want to be at the pinnacle, the top, the tippy. Ilya's fighting to get a second belt, and then he wants to fight the number one pound for pound guy. Like that's the pinnacle. And that's what he wants to do. He's doing everything he can to do that. That's what we want to see. So
Alien versus Predator.
Well, Islam is trying to protect his legacy by saying like, if I stay at 135, they're going to say I only fought 145er. So I got to go up to 170 and get another belt to like really solidify. Dude, Islam, it's going to fail. Everyone's just going to say you fought Jack Della the same way GSP fought Bisping. You fought a guy that was a favorable matchup who didn't have as good of grappling. You waited until there was a favorable champ and you went up. That's how they're going to say it. They're not going to say, oh, well, he was friends with Bilal and he wasn't afraid of Ilya. No. They're going to be like, yeah, Ilya fucking came up there. He bounced and went up to fucking fight the easier fight because he didn't want to cut the weight and he wanted to.
Your detractors will always find a way to detract from your accomplishment.
Yeah.
Do you not understand that? No matter what you do.
Yeah. Until you finally, but there is a way to win them over. You just finally, put them in check. But we have a lot more fights to break down, so let's just get back on track.
Put him in Josh Koscheck like GSP did.
Macy Chiasson versus Ketlin Vieira. Listen, with the new news that she is in PT longer than expected.
Luke, we got to cut that whole thing. We cannot release that.
I really don't have the time to do that. But I'm kidding about that. I'm picking Macy Chiasson to win. She's plus 100. That's the side. I'm taking it. But let's just hope Vieira's got as much PT going on.
She's never coming on now. I mean, she would never watch this. Yes, she would never watch this. Nobody watches our show. Why would she? Yeah, I'm going with Macy Chiasson here. Fortis MMA, great camp. Macy Chiasson is really coming into her own. Like I always say, toughest woman in MMA. Luke said it at the start of the pod when we thought we were having her on. If a crane can't beat her, what makes you think you can? She had to get a new passport, a new social security number, a new birth certificate. Do you know how? Listen,
I find that stuff. If a crane hit my house, I feel like I could go through the rubble and probably get it.
Well, actually, yes, you can find passports untouched by any type of flame or fire, no matter how big the rubble. And we discovered that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they can find the 9/11 hijackers' passports, I think I can find mine in one building. Like,
yeah, and
those guys help you out.
And Luke, there wasn't even any bombs at the base of that building. So, like, how it was just a.
I'm gonna ask you. I'll be like, Macy. So you weren't able to find your passport? She's like, no, it was like a bunch of rubble. Like, no one was gonna be able to find anything in that. I'd be like, oh, like it's crazy. I'm gonna be like, crazy how they found the 9/11 hijackers' passports like after the plane crashed.
Yeah.
See what she says.
Yeah. And maybe I misheard that whole story because, guys, you got to understand, when we first started the show, I was working an overnight shift at a Planet Fitness while I was going to college classes every day. So I was probably delirious as all get out. I probably manifested a bunch of different gym goers that were never even there in the first place. It was my own little Shutter Island, so to say. So maybe I completely am misrepresenting that whole Macy Chiasson story. But yeah, crazy she couldn't find her birth certificate, but they found that passport. Anywho, I'm going Macy Chiasson, toughest woman in MMA, should be fighting for the title. She went on a serious tear. I know that Irene Aldana fight was a little odd. She kind of got hit with an up kick to the body that just like put her in shock or something like that. But this Macy Chiasson, I've been a fan of her for a very, very long time. 2018, she was on The Ultimate Fighter. I feel like that was the season that it was Rana Rousey and Misha Tate, but I'm not exactly positive on that one. It could not have been entirely. That might have been the Juliana Pena season.
We're an hour in. We got to move.
All right, fair enough. Give me Macy Chiasson.
Alan Nascimento, Rafael.
By finish. Macy Chiasson by finish.
Yeah, Kellen's too stiff. She's stiff as a board. Rafael Filo versus Alan Nascimento. I think I'm going to go with Alan Nascimento here. Just because, well, it's a tough one. You know, it's closely lined for a reason. I'm going to go with Nascimento. Strength of schedule will be my ultimate reason.
Yeah, and Rafael Filo is just a little too gaunt for me. Christian Bale and the Mechanist. You can't be that gaunt. At that rate, just go to 135. You'd probably have more success. Give me Alan Nascimento.
All right. Wonderful. So next we go with Zach Reese versus Dusko Tudorovic. Very interesting fight. I mean, 231-year-olds fighting in the middleweight division. Reese is going to have a 3-inch reach and height.
Luke. Something hilarious here. Guess what rank in the world Dusko Tudorovic is?
I'll guess. I won't look. I'm going to say 110.
559th.
Okay. I think that's not true. I think he's 110.
According to Tapology.
I think he's the 110th best middleweight in the world. Zach Reese just got knocked out 3 months ago by Azamat Bekoev.
And he got knocked out 3 times in that fight.
Yeah, that was fucked up. The ref kind of came in there, right? Meanwhile, 6 months ago, Dusko got knocked out by Mansour Abdul Malik. And then before that, got knocked out by Duncan with that knee injury. And then, had to obviously take that time off, came back, got knocked out. His only win, even in the last 3.5 years, is Jordan Wright and Maki Pitolo. Every other fight he's lost, he's been knocked out. Part of me thinks Reese can ground and pound finish him here. I'm going to go with Reese to win. Reese by TKO, Reese by ground and pound.
I'm looking up Blake Grice. I'm trying to see how big he is. The guy who fed Zach Reese the people's elbow. Blake Grice Tapology. What did he fight?
The boring ass media will not ask Zach Reese about that. Like, ask him about that. Be like, did you see that? Like, what were your thoughts on that?
Luke, you want to hear something crazy? Blake Grice, the ref who gave the people's elbow to Zach Reese, fought at heavyweight against none other than Jeremy Stevens.
Little heathen?
But not the same Jeremy Stevens you're thinking of.
The V, not a PH.
Yes. I was so thrown for a loop at first. I was like, is this a BJ Penn Lyoto Machida situation? Like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, I can't with good heart take Zach Reese, because not only did he get knocked out in that fight, he got knocked out 3 times. The ref waited too long to step in, woke back up, got knocked out again, woke back up, and then the ref hits him with a people's elbow right to the jaw. Zach Reese, huge favor here. And I think this is a buy low, sell high situation. I mean, I don't know who's high on Zach Reese, but he's no Christian Leroy Duncan. He's no Mansour Abdul Malik. He's no Chidi Njokwani. He's no Gregory Rodriguez. And he is certainly no Punahele Soriano. Give me Dusko Tudorich. I think this is my MMA lock of the night, or MMA. What's the dog or pass, or my Clint Fireball pick of the night.
Okay. Interesting. He's taking Dusko. I mean, Dusko hits hard, and if he connects, we'll knock him out. But I think the height and the grappling advantage will be on the side of Reese, and he'll be able to go in, close the distance, and take him down. But that's just my thought. But, I mean, I love that for you. I hope you hit that. Next, we got Bruno Lopez.
Sometimes when you shadow box, Luke, you connect.
Bruno Lopez versus Dustin
Jacoby.
Dustin Jacoby.
Jacoby.
It's time for one more
Dustin
time.
Jacoby.
Time to talk about Dustin Jacoby. 37. Gonna be limited to striking in here. Got to win. Knocked out Vitor Petrino 5 months ago. He's a minus 155 slight favorite against a guy 5 years younger. Coming off a win 4 months ago as well. Before that, knocked his way out into the UFC off the Contender Series after getting knocked out on the Contender Series 2 years ago by Brenson Hibario. I'm going to go with Lopez. I love Dustin Jacoby. But I wouldn't have made that if I didn't love Dustin Jacoby. But I just think it's a youth thing. I think it's a youth, it's a speed, it's a power, it's a durability thing. And I think Jacoby's on 2 bad knees, a bad back, bad neck, bad everything at this point.
Yeah, but no. I'm gonna go with Dustin Jacoby. And my reasoning is I think that these guys who come in with glory kickboxing experience, who are fighting somebody, I mean, and all granted, Bruno Lopes If he wants to take this fight to the ground, has a good path to do so. But he doesn't have the athletic prowess that the guys who can stand with Dustin Jacoby have. Bruno Lopes, believe that this guy, is a bit of a striker, club and subber. Don't necessarily see too much wrestling in his game per se. I think Dustin Jacoby can keep this on the feet. I think Dustin Jacoby can piece him up from distance. And I don't necessarily see Bruno Lopes as the guy with the stopping power that the guys who have beaten Dustin Jacoby have. Alonzo Menafield, that is a bit of a stain on your name. But Alonzo Menafield is like an athletic freak. He could play D-line in the NFL. He hits harder than anybody, probably, if he just connects, as Luke says. He could probably connect a ton. Or if he could connect a lot more, he would get a lot more knockouts, Alonzo Menafield. But, yeah, I think Dustin Jacoby keeps this a distance. And I think that a lot of these older guys who transition into MMA, who come from that kickboxing style, have a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Longevity to their career. And this isn't 145, 155. Hell, it ain't even 185. It's 205. Mr. 205, Mr. Worldwide. So Dustin Jacoby will be dealing with a harder hitter, but the guys who aren't cutting as much weight always have longer longevity than some of these lower weight classes. So I'm going to take Dustin Jacoby by unanimous decision. I think he beats Bruno Lopes.
Yeah, honestly, I could. You're convincing me, but I don't know.
It's the Two Agreeable Guys podcast. Sorry.
All right. Seok Hun Kyo versus Billy Ray Goff.
Now, did Sakai Hayanko, did he serve his mandatory military service yet?
That's an interesting question.
Jamie?
He's 31, so I would say definitely. He's the Korean Tyson, that's what they call him. And he's got 6 knockouts. No submissions and 5 decisions. 1 UFC.
So why is that okay? But John Phillips, he had to change his name.
The Korean Tyson, what's his name?
No. John Phillips. His name used to be. Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that. But Igor Calvel, I just mean like the Korean Tyson. Like I think it's all just. I think if Mike Tyson doesn't have a problem with it, I don't think that anybody should have a problem with it. Igor Cavalcante, but the white Mike Tyson is Tyson Fury, so
very true.
I think he should have a problem with it. No. Igor Cavalcanti was the person who the Korean Tyson beat going into the UFC by decision. It was almost a year ago at this point, September 3rd, 2024. Billy Ray Goff, 9-3, 26 years old. So he's going to be significantly younger. And this fight is going to be at the what weight class is this?
I think it's welterweight.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah,
welterweight.
Okay, so it's 170. The guy's got a 5-year age gap. He's the favorite. He's coming off a loss a year ago. So he hasn't fought in a year. This guy hasn't fought in 8 months. Goff is the slight favorite. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not loving Billy Goff here.
Billy Gay Rolfe went to a pretty close decision with Trey Waters. Trey the Truth.
And lost a year ago. Hasn't fought since.
Fight of the night, though.
Sorry, Tapology's just growing a fucking bunch of weeds on my screen right now. I can't see anything. We're really going to be switching off Tapology. There's no ads on Best Fight Odds. I think we're going to go to Best Fight Odds.
Fair enough. And that will give us the best fight odds.
It won't give us who they fought or anything like that, but we got to figure something out because this typology business is getting a little greedy. They're getting a little crazy.
You're welcome for all my clicks for shutting the ads. You're welcome. I hope that.
You're welcome for all these accidental clicks I'm doing on these fucking intrusive ass ads that just, it's like pop-ups. It's like being in the fucking early 2000s again, dude. It's like, when they would like pop up and trick you into clicking them. That's literally what I'm experiencing here. I'm going with the Korean Tiger, the Korean Tyson, Seokhyung Kyo. Very unusual pick by me, I will say. This one's very unusual, but I'm going with Kyo. I'd be all over the American Billy Ray Golf here 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I think I got to go with Billy Gay Rolfe here because he is American. We've seen fighters from that region of the world, not America, Korea, and Asian Pacific, APAC countries, not necessarily have the stiffest competition where they're coming from. And, say what you want about Billy Gay Rolfe, but I think he's going to be able to get this done. He's going to be able to mix it up against the Korean Tiger. And we've been seeing a lot of really great Korean fighters come as of late. Yeah. Give me Billy Gay Rolfe, please. I need it. I think he's going to win this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's like, who has Billy Golf really fought?
Trey Waters.
Hobson Gracie Jr. Nah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I'm gonna go with Kyo. We're disagreeing again. Klein versus Gamrot. I mean, this is a good one. This is the people's main event.
Maybe your main event, brother, but Macy Chiasson versus.
Let me tell you a little bit about.
It's mine.
Let me tell you about Ludovic Klein. Beat Ignacio Bahamundes. Beat AJ Cunningham. Beat Thiago Moises. Beat Roosevelt Roberts. That's his last 2 years. He also went to a draw with Jai Herbert. Meanwhile, we got Gamrot came in there and shit the bed against Beneil Dariush 2 years, 6 months ago. Did not get the win. Then he split decisions, Jalen Turner in a fight a lot of people thought he lost. Short notice for Turner. Beats Fiziev in a questionable kind of situation with a leg injury. Beats Dos Anjos and then loses to Dan Hooker. Completely shits the bed again. So he's got 3 decent wins bookended by 2 shit the beds. He's 34 at 155. He's 5'10". Man, I don't see him holding down Ludovic Klein for 3 straight rounds. And I think Klein pieces him up on the feet. I'm taking Ludovic Klein. He's a plus 120 dog. I don't see it. I'm taking Klein. Ludovic Ethan Klein.
That isn't even funny. But Luke, before you even make that choice, have you ever thought about making second business mama?
No.
Okay. A little something for the other heads out there. There has to be some heads. Okay. I'm going with Ludovic Klein as well, Mr. Highlight. Luke, you convinced me. And I was going to go with Mateus Gamrot. Out in the streets, they call it murder. Welcome to Gamrot.
It's like we're looking at look this way.
Huh?
It's like we're talking to each other. It's like if you look that
way. Now we can be the talking talk to boys. Just get something to swirl.
I have a Stanley. I'm good.
Yeah, but you got to swirl it. That's the whole point of talk and talk to it.
Right. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Going with Ludovic Klein. Whoa. Ludovic Klein. Not Quine. Ludovic Klein. And Luke brought up a bunch of great points, but he didn't bring up the one that I think is most important. And here's exactly why. Because although Mateus Gamrot has great wrestling, when we have seen him on his downfall is when guys have good chain wrestling, can mix up the defenses and put him on his heels a little bit, theoretically, not physically, and keep him guessing, tire him out, and in the third round, Mateusz Gamrot is done. And that is exactly why Ludwig Klein is going to beat Mateusz Gamrot. He is going to defend the takedown with a whizzer. Mateusz Gamrot gets in a little deeper. He does a quick little switch, grabs the leg, forces him out. Now Mateusz Gamrot's hands are so tired from trying to grab that double leg against the cage that his strikes aren't coming as fluid. His strikes are not as swift. They don't have as much pop to them. Ludwig Klein's coming around. Bah, bah, bah. Ludwig Klein isn't going to be the guy to push the pace when it comes to the wrestling in this fight. He's going to be the guy who defends, stays up, but has more energy and more power in this fight. Mateusz Gamrot should have gotten the title shot earlier in his career. He should have had a more of a fast track up. He just doesn't have the most exciting style. He probably could have won it, but he isn't exciting, and that's why he didn't get it, and it will be the downfall of him in this fight.
A little bit decline for both of us. Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. What a clash of the Titans. I mean, this is going to be a real cat fight, a real tooth and nail. 14-3 versus 13-3. Two girls knocking on the door of title shots. Macy Barber, the future, wanted to be the champ, younger than John Jones. She's 27 now. It didn't happen, but either way, she's got 6 knockouts, 2 submissions, only ever lost twice, both by decision. Once to Roxanne Modafferi.
Luke, the main event and the co-main event are virtually identical.
They really are. They really are. She lost to Modafferi, big time scarlet letter. Lost to Alexa Grasso, much less. Alexa, former champ, not that big of a deal. But since the loss to Grasso, she beat Miranda Maverick, the Boogie Woman. She beat Montana of the Roses. She beat Jessica Ai. She beat Andrea Lee. She beat Amanda Hebas. She beat Caitlin, formerly known as Chukagian, Caitlin Sermonara. And albeit hasn't fought since March 2024. So a year and 2-month layoff for Macy Barber. Always a little bit injury prone. Those knees, etc. 6 wins in a row versus Aaron Blanchfield, who had her own little shit the bed moment against Manon Fiorot. No takedowns were even attempted. She sat there and kickboxed with Manon Fiorot and had a learning experience on everybody's dime a year ago. But other than that, unblemished except for a split decision loss to Tracy Cortez. She beats Rose Namajunas in her last fight, executed a much better game plan over the 5 rounds, got the win. I kind of feel like Blanchfield is... What do you think about this fight, Alex?
Sorry, I was getting a call. What I think, it's not about what I think, it's about what I know. And what I do know is that, this Macy Barber, she's riding quite a winning streak right now, right? All she's beaten is dusty old hags covered in green dust, as far as I'm concerned. And she lost to one of the dusty old hags covered in green dust, as far as I'm concerned. Macy Barber's best attribute is that she can wrestle. She can't strike. Aaron Blanchfield has way better wrestling. And I know this might sound like a little flip-flop from the last fight, but I don't necessarily think Mateusz Gamrot has better wrestling than Nathan Klein. Ludwig Klein. Who's Nathan Klein? Anywho. I think that Aaron Blanchfield has the better skill set here and has fought a way higher caliber of competition. And although she lost in that Manion Ferrot fight, I think that she can build from that. She can learn from that. She can figure out what she's doing. Luke once told his daughter, Aaron Blanchfield won a fight. He said, that girl right there, she's a hero. That girl is a inspiration. Or was that Kelly, the jiu-jitsu girl.
Both Danielle Kelly and Aaron Blanchfield, both.
Yeah, I think Aaron Blanchfield wins. Macy Barber, she is a little and we could say this about a male fighter and nobody would say a word. But she's got a better base. She's a bit more thick-legged than Aaron Blanchfield. So maybe she'll have a easier time defending those takedowns. She's a little bit more stout. No Sam. But I got to go with Aaron Blanchfield. I mean,
I think it's a super close decision.
some people said that Marion Ferrot beat Valentina Shevchenko. Did you know that? I mean, I didn't see that, but some people said that.
I just think Blanchfield's going to be a little bit more persistent at certain intervals. And I think it'll be a very close decision that people cry robbery in one way or another, or just it'll be very disappointing. But I think that it's going to be a razor close decision that Blanchfield edges. But I really actually have grown to love Macy Barber.
In a fight that I will edge to myself. But
okay,
anywho.
That's messed up. I should cut that out. But at the end of the day, I'm going to
That's fucking illegal.
I'm gonna
Nothing illegal
I'm
about
gonna
it.
say this. I love Macy Barber. I've grown to love Macy Barber, and I hope that she wins in a weird kind of way. I think that she just has to kind of get there more than Blanchfield does right now. I mean, they're only a year apart, but I feel like for Macy, it's like she's a little bit more. We're running the risk of her becoming jaded. I need her to win so that she can remain positive. Blanchfield, I think, will bounce back better.
There's only one Macy that has my heart, and it is Macy by the name of Chiasson.
We'll take everybody through your full picks, top to bottom, and let's get out of here.
First, one thing. Marion Ferrot, Rose Namajunas, Talia Santos, Jessica Andrade, Molly McCann.
Murderous row. It's a murder.
That's a murderer's row. That is two people who fought for the title and two people who had the title at one point in time. So, Aaron Blanchfield has been tested where I feel like Macy Chiasson has been like this golden goose of the UFC who gets the Patty Pimblett type matchups, Like Andrea KGB Lee was only ranked in the top 15 because there was only 15 women that raised their hand at the time. And, Luke says this is going to be like a razor close decision. And that's why I love Macy Chiasson. She goes out there and she wins shit decisively. She fucking beats these broads up. She doesn't give a care about anything in the world except for battering you up. And that's why I love Macy Chiasson. Take you through my picks. It's Aaron Blanchfield, Ludwig Klein, Billy Gay Rolfe, Dustin Jacoby, Dusko Tudorovich, Alan Nascimento, Macy Chiasson by finish, Oban Elliott, Jordan Levitt, but if I were you, I'd leave it off my parlay. Markel Medeiros and Renee Dos Santos. This is a ladies' night. A lot of ladies' fights tonight.
Yeah, only 11 fights. There could be more added. We might need to do a check-in next week, but we'll come next week with intentions of getting ahead on the next week's card, and we'll give our touch-ups.
Dude, Alex Gustafson's brother was supposed to fight against Wells, but Wells pulled out, so maybe Gustafson will be added in the near future. It got canceled, yeah.
All right. Well, if you're going with me, I'm going with Rand Dos Santos, Balagioki, Jordan Leavitt, Oban Elliott, Macy Chiasson, Alan Nascimento, Zach Reese, Bruno Lopez, Hung Kyo, Ludwig Klein, Aaron Blanchfield. The double P certified picks are RDS, Jordan Leavitt, Oban Elliott, Macy Chiasson, Alan Nascimento, Ludwig Klein, and Aaron Blanchfield. That is 7 picks that Alex and I agree on. And
there's going to be more double P certified picks than there were triple, boys. So that number, that the triple P certified picks, if we stay on this track and Dan doesn't get his life together soon, we're in jeopardy for triple P certified picks percentage being above that 60 something percent that we had all 5 years.
I hope, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Or Macy can just,
You know, what would melt my heart is if Dan comes back and he says, and I wrote down all my picks. I never stopped keeping track. And I'd be like,
there's a 0% chance he does that.
yeah, because what would be the point of doing it without us? Like, it's like, I mean, he needs a break. It's like, you need a break. But okay. Well, anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you all for joining us. Sorry we couldn't bring Macy to you. We'll be live next time we come. You know, we love you, but we just wanted to make sure we had a safe and stable environment for our guest. She didn't show up.
I love the balls on my mouth.
So, well, it is what it is. And we'll be back next week. We love you. Thanks. Enjoy this on the break week. We'll get you through the holiday weekend on your drive to the beach. We love you. Let us know in the comments. What are you doing for Memorial Day weekend? Let us know in the comments. What do you think about this week's card? Let us know in the comments. We want Macy, and then we'll show it to her. Say we want Dan, and we'll show it to him. And the first number.
Give Dan your thoughts and prayers.
And, you know, we said we'd give out Dan's phone number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give one number a week for every week he doesn't come back.
One is the first. One is the first. I just gave it to you.
It is one. It is one. Plus one. Okay. So we got 10 more numbers to go. So if Dan's not back in 10 weeks, we're giving all 10 digits. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Love you. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Let us know what you're doing.
Hi.